Hello, my name is Dr. John Sapola. I teach clarinet and saxophone at Western Kentucky University. This is the All-State 2012 clarinet solo, the slow one, marked at 50. In this solo, what we would like to do is, again, as I talked about in the faster etude, really work together with your air and your fingers, always getting a good reserve of air from down deep in your diaphragm, and always having that good reserve to call upon so you can shape your dynamics. And secondly, your fingers. Again, I'm reviewing what the first video said about having your fingers kind of come in on a slight angle here. That way you can access your A key here and your G sharp key, doing any kind of motions you need to up there that you wouldn't be able to if you came in straight on like this. And on the right hand, the same thing, a little bit of an angle coming down into the clarinet. That way we can access these side keys like this. Thumb placement should be about where your nail meets your cuticle there. And if it's too far over, then you'll see your thumb sticking out a little bit, and then you'll have eagle claws like this, and we want to avoid that. This is a good one to start practicing notes, and in general, when you're warming up, practice notes from nothing, just from air, and let them crescendo. So this practice is combining your air control with your lip pressure on the reed, and just at the moment the note speaks, when the reed is vibrating, this is the point at which we want to have control over. So the way I do that is I form my embouchure by saying the letter Q like this, and I keep the chin nice and flat, and the lip is flat here against the teeth. And if I do this, and the corners are nice and firm and pulled down, the chin is pulled down, now I have a nice formally formed embouchure. I wedge the clarinet in with my right thumb, keeping it not biting on the embouchure, but just firm enough to keep air from leaking out the sides. And then I'm ready to blow my air. Of course, I've taken in my air already. So the steps are take in your air, form your embouchure. Now blow your air nice and gently. And as you blow the air, increase the airspeed and gradually increase the slight pressure on the reed until you feel the point at which the reed vibrates. After that point, you don't need to put any more pressure on the reed. And this is what we get into trouble with when we start to put more pressure on the reed and we bite, especially in the higher register of the clarinet. And we not only bite and it hurts, but we also go sharp in our pitch. So in this case, use this as a good example of an exercise. Pick any note, an open G for instance, and just play these crescendos into the notes. And as you're doing these crescendos and then decrescendos, make sure that your embouchure pressure on the reed stays about constant, and you don't find yourself biting into that reed as you get louder. Second thing, the legato connection of the notes. We want to always keep the idea of the musical phrase in mind as paramount, and so make sure that your fingers are really nice and slowly pressing to the next note, no slapping of the keys. And so I would recommend isolating certain intervals in this particular piece and make sure you're really, really comfortable. For instance, in the first bar, the C going down to the F sharp. What might be necessary sometimes is to back your air off just ever so slightly. Now you really might not even be able to hear that, but I'm ever so slightly changing my air speed. So I'm not trying to conflict myself when I say steady air and legato fingers, but it is a steady air stream, but the speed may change depending on the intervals, very, very, very slightly. So I would isolate intervals here. Okay, second thing I'd like to talk about is the articulated notes in bar 5, where you have a tie over the bar, but then you have staccato notes. And so they're really not staccato, they're just nice and light is what they are supposed to be. And so I would never play anything in this entire piece too short. So bar 5, now there will be a lot of variations, you can maybe separate them even more. Okay, and I think depending on your control of your staccatos, a lot of those variations will be acceptable. Quick little lesson on staccatos: steady air, always nice steady air, form your embouchure, and keep your tongue in an arched high position as if you're saying he, and then say the sound D-E-E-T. Next thing, in bar 7, make sure that you subdivide that correctly. So the high A, you're not going to just think of a quarter note, you're going to actually think 4 16th notes. And then when you get to your 32nd notes, use your math skills and divide them. We have 4 16th notes in one quarter note, correct? So now we're going to have 8 32nd notes in a span of one beat. So what we'll do is group the high A is 1 16th note worth because it's marked as a 16th. The G and the F sharp are going to count as your second 16th note. The E and the D are going to be your third, and the C sharp and the B are going to be your fourth. So here's our group of 16th notes. And then I just double up the next ones. So always be subdividing in this. Use extreme dynamics, extreme in a musical fashion. So when you start out the first note of the piece, you might even start it with just air only, as long as you come in pretty much in tempo. Like this, and then immediately crescendo. And again, on the second bar, again, do your subdivisions. 1 E and 2 E and 4 and 3 and 4 and 1 E and 2 E and 3 and 4. And now the A sharp and the A, I like to play not just with this key here, but I put the third on the left hand and the third on the right and my low F C key. Sometimes I even put my entire right hand down like this for my A and for my B flat. So you play the A or the B flat as you regularly do, but you put some other keys down. And what this does is actually sort of extends the tube of the clarinet, makes it longer, because otherwise your A right up here would just be the tube of the clarinet would end right here. And so you have more of a shallower sound. And if we extend the tube, you get more resonance of those particular notes. So if you can get used to playing those on slow passages where you have time to get your fingers down, they really do make a difference. And it also gets you ready for bar 5. Thank you very much. Good luck to everybody.